Wherever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Good morning, and welcome to our virtual broadcast here at First Unitarian Church of Toledo. Just a couple of announcements today. I want to remind you all that today is our last day to place your orders for our Mother's Day flower sale. You can send in that order form if you have the hard copy from your email or your FYI, or you can reach us at office@uutoledo.org. Send an email, make sure you get those in. Delivery is available for an additional $10 charge, and those will be available for pickup on Tuesday, May 4th. Make sure you get those. And if you'd like some chocolates to go along with those flowers for Mom, we are still selling world's finest chocolates. Contact our church office to learn more.
And in this announcements period, there are two announcements I want to make. One is I want to let you know that I have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. So if you would like to have a one-on-one meeting face-to-face, we can arrange that. Just please get in touch with me and we can arrange for a time and place to meet. I can travel now, and I will still wear a mask, but with the vaccination, we can do a bit more visiting. So keep that in mind. The other announcement I want to make is an announcement of gratitude. We don't say our thanks enough to our production crew, and I want to thank them. Today, behind the camera, we have Arun and Eric and Robin and Tom and Nicole. Thank you all for your great work in helping us to continue these YouTube services, and we're going to see what happens as things go along. Thanks so much. And now, to start the service proper, we will begin with a land acknowledgement for this Earth Day service. We give thanks for the earth we are on at First Unitarian Church of Toledo, and to the people who were here before us. We live on what came to be known as the Great Black Swamp. Though said to be almost uninhabitable, too wet to support good community or farming, we acknowledge that the Miami and Peoria people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and many other Native American people lived here in the Great Black Swamp, and that the Battle of Fallen Timbers was instrumental in opening this land to U.S. development and Toledo becoming our home. We are grateful that now Greater Toledo is a compassionate region where people of multiple backgrounds and origins live largely in harmony today.
Our opening words are adapted from Diana Smith. Welcome to this Earth Day service. Like so many days, this day holds wonder and sorrow. Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, as a day to honor the earth and to participate in environmental teach-ins. Since then, the environmental movement has grown in this country, and environmental awareness permeates much of our society. At the same time, the environmental problems we face have grown as climate change, which had already begun in 1970 but was barely recognized, has had deeper and graver impacts on Earth. Problems with consumption and other environmental degradation have also grown with the world's economy and population. There are promising signs, too. Alongside these problems, people have begun working for solutions. In the process, we're healing some of the other hurts of our society. Today, we join together to hold our hope and our pain, to honor Earth, and to recognize how deeply our relationship with Earth and our work for environmental justice is intertwined with all of our spiritualities. This is not the work of one day, and on this day, we honor Earth.
And now we have our chalice lighting. This is Committed to Respond by Lynn Harrison. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds. Embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth, we light a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world not of wealth but well-being, a world of new peace and abundance for all, as we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home. May we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care. Rising to the calls deep within us and all around us, may we respond today and always with courage and with love. And now please join me in reciting our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now our congregational singing is a hymn not in our hymnal, but we do have lyrics on the screen. It's As We Enjoy These Shady Trees, and the tune will probably be familiar.
As we enjoy these shady trees, our elders had from saplings grown. For those to come, we sow our seeds, that they may reap what we have sown. In gratitude, we build upon the firm foundations of the past, with love and service as our guides. We know our heritage will last. We can give only what we have, our time and skill, small though they be. May not our effort be in vain, but help to build community of kindred souls, all threads of life's vast tapestry. So may we live and grow and thrive, now and for all posterity.
Now it's time for our story, presented on video by our interim religious educator, Soroya King.
Good morning. Our story today is called Rainbows in the Windows. It's been adapted for our use today, and it's written by Jen Blosser. Somewhere in the world, there was a child and their friends, sheltering in place just like you were. And they were really fed up, perhaps a bit like you are sometimes. The novelty of being at home all the time and doing whatever they wanted had worn off for the child, and they felt bored. For the parents, it was less a feeling of boredom weighing them down, but rather a sense of hopelessness. They watched TV for hours, though how many hours remained a mystery. They stopped keeping track of time, really. The days all blurred together, They felt they had been doing this for so long. And then one day when the child accidentally sat on the remote after getting more snacks, and the TV accidentally turned off, there was something new reflected in the black screen of the powered down TV. The child turned around to look out the window and find the source of this reflection in the house across the road from them. There was a piece of paper taped in the window, and on that paper was a colorfully drawn rainbow. Well, this was something new, something unexpected and bright and cheery and new. The child smiled. In a flash, the child retrieved a sheet of paper and crayons and began to draw a rainbow while the parent fetched tape. A moment later, they gazed upon their window with pride. Their rainbow shone back across the street, joyfully mirroring their neighbor's rainbow. What happened next was like magic. Every day, more cheerful rainbows appeared in more windows, all up and down the street. The children gleefully drew rainbows for each window in their home, watching their neighbors do the same. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and all manner of other colors burst forth, seeming to shine through the windows, a cacophony of color. But the people didn't stop there. They continued to draw. Rainbows were taped to neighbors' doors, slipped into mailboxes. They were sent to care homes, to beloved elders who couldn't have visitors. Rainbows were left tucked under the windshield wipers of Uber Eats drivers' cars. They were left out for the delivery folks. People made rainbows to send to hospitals, scrawled with messages of gratitude and admiration for everyone working to help the sick, from the doctors and nurses to the custodial staff and the maintenance workers. Stockers working hard in grocery stores found paper rainbows between cans of beans and corn, left waiting on the shelves where the toilet paper was sold out. Now families on solitary walks around the city go rainbow hunting. The children and their families like to do this, taking paper with them to write down all the places they see rainbows hanging: the empty school, the corner store, windows of brownstone homes, even hanging from balconies 15 stories up. They make a list of all the rainbows emerging, logging each place where the colors shine into the empty streets. Folks are coming together in spirit, while physically distanced, to lovingly reassure one another with brilliant colors. The rainbows are beautiful, and to see them alone is a joy. But they also carry with them a promise, and the vaccine has arrived. The rainbows shine as a reminder of hope. We are in this together. The storm will end, and we will come out on the other side. Our story today for your hope and reassurance.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
Thank you. We could meditate on that beautiful anthem, but we also have words for meditation, contemplation, and prayer. These were written by Vern Barnett as an Earth Day prayer written in the spirit of indigenous traditions. My understanding is that Vern Barnett is a white man, a Unitarian Universalist minister who is now also an Episcopalian follower who did much multi-faith work. And this was part of his multi-faith work, I take it. Please join me for meditation, contemplation, and prayer. Infinite Spirit, sometimes called Grandfather, Grandmother, Father Sky, Earth Mother, Creator, we gather to praise your creation, to honor the swimmers and crawlers, the four-leggeds and the winged ones. We give thanks for the beauty and glory of creation and open our hearts to new ways to understand our place in the universe. Not the center or focus, but a humble and balanced place where every step we take becomes a prayer, where every word we say makes harmony with the vast, vibrating cosmos, and where we know we are singing the song of life. We pray to know more deeply that we are in the garden where every plant and animal and speck of dust is a living prayer. Without our brothers and sisters, our siblings of the plant and animal and mineral kingdoms, the human family would end. So we want to bless them as they bless us. We pray for humility, not to humble ourselves before presidents or priests, but before the ants and trees. For if we cannot be in true relation to the ant, we shall be outcasts of the garden. Let us cast the pollution from our eyes so we can see the glory and live with thanksgiving. Great Spirit, let us remember it is not how we talk, but how we walk. When we say we love animals, let us protect them. When we say that we love the plant people, let us honor them by living lightly on the earth. When we say we love the minerals, let us use them only in necessity and remember their rightful places. Oil belongs in the ground, not in the air through our wasteful machines. Wondrous trees breathing life into the atmosphere, your gifts of fire and shelter, fruit and sailing are precious to us. and in many ways you offer us leaves of knowledge. May the vision of mutual interrelatedness, cosmic interdependence, the seamless process of generations, not end in cough-filled skies blotting the sun, but rather may clear air, healthy forests, wholesome water, expansive prairie, and pungent earth nourish paths for all creatures through mountain and valley and the salt sea and through a protective atmosphere as we rejoice in the inhabitants. Hear and empower our mantra: reduce, reuse, recycle. With thanks for the surprise and mystery of it all, we pray in the name of the Creator, the processes and presences, and all our relations. And I add that we also must pray for people to people. There is too much violence. We must do something about the prevalence of guns and shooting. And we must try to live better together. Let's observe 1 minute of silence.
Spirit of life, come to me. Sing in my heart all the strength of compassion. Rise in the sea, move with the hand, giving light the shade of justice. Rose of heroes, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Today's reading is called A Seed Knows How to Wait, from Lab Girl by Hope Jaron. A seed knows how to wait. Most seeds wait for several years before starting to grow. A cherry seed can wait for 100 years with no problem. What exactly each seed is waiting for is known only to that seed. Some unique trigger combination of temperature, moisture, light, and many other things is required to convince a seed to jump off the deep end and take its chance, to take its one and only chance to grow. A seed is alive while it waits. Every acorn on the ground is just as alive as the 300-year-old oak tree that towers over it. Neither the seed nor the old oak is growing. They are both just waiting. Their waiting differs, however, in that the seed is waiting to flourish, while the tree is only waiting to die. When you go into a forest, you probably tend to look up at the plants that have grown so much taller than you ever could. You probably don't look down where just beneath your single footprint sits between 100 and 1,000 seeds, each one alive and waiting. When you are in the forest, for every tree that you see, there are no less than 3 million more trees waiting in the soil, fervently wishing to be. When the embryo within a seed starts to grow, it basically just stretches out of its doubled over waiting posture, elongating into official ownership of the form that it assumed years ago. The hard coat that surrounds a peach pit, a sesame or mustard seed, or a walnut shell mostly exists to prevent this expansion. In the laboratory, we simply scratch the hard coat and add a little water, and it's enough to make almost any seed grow. I must have cracked thousands of seeds over the years, and yet the next day's green never fails to amaze me. Something so hard can be so easy if you just have a little help. In the right place, under the right conditions, you can finally stretch out into what you're supposed to be. Each beginning is the end of a waiting. We are each given exactly one chance to be. Each of us is both impossible and inevitable. Every replete tree was first a seed that waited.
Last year, on April 19th, 1 year ago tomorrow, we had a Sunday service celebrating the upcoming 50th anniversary of Earth Day on April 22nd. That was our 6th Sunday of COVID-restricted services presented on YouTube rather than in person. This coming Thursday, it will be Earth Day again, and we're still in modified form on YouTube and not meeting in person because of the global pandemic. You could say that conditions have been terrible, but with a vaccine and new federal governmental leadership, things are looking up in a few ways, such as with the vaccine now being widely available. And if you haven't been vaccinated yet, I urge you to do so. The process has eased a bit with walk-in opportunities where you don't have to make a reservation. But there is also still risk of contracting a COVID-19 infection. Michigan currently has a high incidence. There are variants of the novel coronavirus, and we in Northwest Ohio seem to be getting some contact because of our border, with our case count rising. So please take precautions. Wear a mask and observe social distance, for example. If you've been vaccinated, continue to wear a mask. The vaccines aren't a cure or 100% effective. What a wonderful world we live in. I say that without irony. We could focus on the ways we don't seem to get along with the earth, such as with disease, or with the ways we use the earth, the knowledge of science and the earth's resources to develop ways for the world to thrive despite disease. Not just human disease, but all living things. Animals and plants, even bacteria, finding ways that we can help the world to heal and make itself better, you might say. The ways we don't get along include what we do to the earth. And for 51 years, Earth Day has been one way to call attention to our need to change our bad ways, like how we contribute to climate change. how we pollute earth, air, and water, how we even kill one another. And we can change. Consider that this is a living planet, and we can let it know what a wonderful world this is. On April 22nd, 1970, 20 million Americans, at the time 10% of the total population of the United States, took to the streets, parks, and auditoriums to demonstrate for a healthy, sustainable environment in massive coast-to-coast rallies. People showed us that this is a wonderful world. On Earth Day, people still do that. I wish it were still at least 10% of our population praising the earth. For this year's Earth Day service, I was thinking of the Louis Armstrong song, What a Wonderful World, which you heard from Mickey and Bonnie as today's anthem. Today, let's remember the words of that song. The first verse. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Trees of green, red roses, the plants of our planet, blooming, maybe not actually for me and you, but we can appreciate the displays of nature. With spring here, though I've heard another freeze is near, so we're not in the full bloom of the season, we give attention, so much enjoying decorative plant life, that we go to garden shops and greenhouses and purchase plants for our own yards. This is the verse about earth, what comes from the dirt, the land that helps us live. What a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Blue skies and white clouds are beautiful. The day is blessed and the night is sacred. This is the verse of air, of light, of the earth's atmosphere, and beyond. This doesn't mention pollution, our attempts to go beyond our home into space. It notes the ideals when the sky is vivid and the contrast of blue and white intensifies our vision. And it sneaks in some religion. Blessed day and sacred night. Something that calls to our pagan roots, our awe of living in the world. It does make us think to ourselves, what a wonderful world. We're halfway through the lyrics to What a Wonderful World. I'll take a few moments to tell you about the song itself. Helped, of course, by my favorite reference source, Wikipedia. It was written by Robert Thiel and George David Weiss. I don't know if one was the lyricist and the other composer of the music. I take it that they collaborated on words and music. In some places, Robert or Bob Thiel is not listed as co-writer. It's George Douglas or Stanley Clayton. Bob Thiel had uncles with the names George, Douglas, Stanley, and Clayton. It might be because he was also a record producer and label executive that using a songwriter alias kept some professional separation that could have been advantageous for him. George David Weiss was a songwriter and performer in many genres, big band, jazz, Broadway, pop, and film. George Weiss had stated the song was specifically written for Louis Armstrong. It was recorded in 1967, 54 years ago, and released as a single, and it became a #1 hit in the United Kingdom, but not at that time in the U.S. It turns out there was some office conflict involved. Wikipedia tells me that the president of ABC Records didn't like the song, so he wouldn't promote it. Part of that could be that he was at the recording session in Las Vegas, got into an argument with Bob Thiel because this was to be Armstrong's first single for ABC Records, and the president wanted a more swingy song, and that president ended up locked out of the studio. Apparently, Armstrong only received $250 Musicians Union scale for recording the song. But it became a hit again in 1988, after it was used in the movie Good Morning Vietnam, hitting number 32 in the U.S. And in 1999, Louis Armstrong's version was put in the Grammy Hall of Fame. Other movie makers and TV producers also felt the song could tie in with their videos, so it's become somewhat popular that way too. I think it would fit well in a Unitarian Universalist hymnal. It's not there yet, though. Let's get back to the song with its third verse. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." Colors of the rainbow also on the faces. Yes, in an ideal song, we're all living together, diverse in skin color and every other way, including ancestral origins, ability and accessibility, gender and sex, and on and on. Here in the song, the simple acts of being in community, acknowledging your neighbor, shaking hands, or these days, bumping fists or touching elbows, asking about the other, are giving dignity, showing respect, expressing love. What a wonderful world. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yes. What potential does the future bring? That's kind of where we Unitarian Universalists are trying to lead. In our work to eradicate supremacy based on skin color and ancestral origins, to recognize that gender and love go beyond a binary, to pay attention to this planet through such organizations as Unitarian Universalist Ministry for the Earth and its Green Sanctuary program. And I note that next week here, Judy Lee Troutman will lead our annual Green Sanctuary service. We envision a future of harmony in our world and with each other. The seventh principle that Unitarian Universalist congregations covenant to affirm and promote is respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. And we turn to 6 sources of our living tradition, the 6th being oriented to our world. Spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. We Unitarian Universalists are focusing on this world that we know, in part, but we're also still learning about it. Let's make more days Earth Days, where we learn about this place where we are. Can we make this a wonderful world? What a wonderful world. So be it.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful We now come to our time for offering. If you feel moved and would like to visit us at uutoledo.org, you can support this congregation virtually or at our Glendale address. Go to uutoledo.org, click on Give, and then click on Online Giving. If you'd like to learn more about who we are and what we do, and you're not already a member on our FYI, please reach out to us. You can comment below or reach out to office@uutoledo.org, and we will get you on that mailing list. Pardon me, that's the best way to stay involved in what's going on week to week.
And now coming soon, which is a preview of next week, our 10 a.m. Spiritual Adventures Forum will continue what Phil Teitelbaum presented part 1 of today. It will be part 2 of American Conspiracism, A Century of Paranoia. And then our 11 a.m. service, as I said, will be our Green Sanctuary service led by Judy Lee Troutman. It's Creation, a Sequel. Get ready for some scripted drama.
And as every week, please join us after service on Zoom for our virtual coffee hour. We can all catch up. That meeting code and password is in the YouTube description. We hope to see you there. We come now to our closing words by Diana Smith, benediction. As we go forth from this sacred space, may we celebrate earth and our shared lives. May we recognize our connections to all that is in and on earth. May we truly and deeply value the inherent worth of all in this awesome, interconnected web of existence. May we commit ourselves to a new way, and may we hold our commitments and each other gently yet firmly. Blessed be and amen.
And as we send our flame into the world, these are words of Jacques Cousteau. This is our hope, that the children born today may still have 20 years hence a bit of green grass under their bare feet, a breath of clean air to breathe, a patch of blue water to sail upon, and a whale on the horizon to set them dreaming.